I'm about to blow. I gotta stay on my hustle, you know that I'm grinding for sure. I came up right from the bottom, now they see me chasing my goals. Now they see me on the go, yeah. Now they see me on the road. It's time to hustle, yeah, it's time to grow. I'ma shoot for the stars and we aim for the gold. It's time to hustle.
Welcome back to Hustlers. As always, brought to you by Arepa. Arepa is a brain drink made locally in New Zealand. It is made for cognitive function under brain fatigue and stress. It helps, trust me, it makes it work. Gives you the, if you've got a list of things to do in a day, it gives you the tunnel vision to be able to finish it. So make sure you use our code online, 138, you get 20% off. It also supports the podcast if you do. Thank you, Arepa. Back with a Q&A. Haven't done one of these in a while, and I've had, there's about 6 questions come through, and we're going to roll through them. I've seen them briefly, but I haven't actually put any thought into these questions, so they're just going to be off the cuff. And I've got Bella asking them. Bella, first one.
Do I say who it's from?
Nah, just say the question.
What's happening in terms of stocks for your business?
Stocks. So I think, I don't know if they meant stock or stocks, but if they're meaning stocks like shares, we are not selling any shares or stocks within our business at this point. Maybe in the future, if we do, it'll be to do with capital and putting more money into, I guess, essentially more equity in the bank account for us to be able to, capital in the bank account for us to be able to do things. So, for example, if we wanted to make a real shift in a certain area of our business and we needed the money to do it, then we'd look at potentially taking on like an investor or something like that. But at this stage, no chance on that. And if they're meaning stock-wise, we just had our drop maybe about 3 weeks ago now, maybe 4 weeks, and it went really well. All our t-shirts are sold out. We still got some shorts on there and some linen pants, and a couple little, like some ribbed singlets and stuff on there as well. Not a lot of it though. We're actually in production of our new collection, which is going to be our biggest one so far. So don't want to spill the beans too much, but we've got hoodies, crew necks, track shorts, no-show socks. No-show socks is something that I run through all the time, and I need to get more. So we're going to sell like 5 packs of no-show socks in this collection. We also have 2 rings. 2 silver rings that we haven't released yet, 2 types of rings, sorry. So we're going to get some content shot on those, and then we'll drop those within the next month as well. But with the stock, we had a bit of a delay on production, as usual. Fucking hell. COVID hit China again, so everyone went into lockdown again over there, and they were in lockdown, was it last week, potentially the week before as well. So production stopped for 2 weeks, so our stuff is now 2 weeks behind again. So it's frustrating, but you can't control it, can't get angry at them too, because it's not their problem, not their fault. But yeah, we're hoping to have that dropped by the end of next month. And if we do, then we're going to hopefully open another pop-up shop in Bayfair, but we'll see. Next one, Bella.
What's the worst business decision you've ever made?
Hiring Devontae. He just comes in here and just sits on his phone and plays with his drill. Shit. I don't really know. It's tough to say because everything that you, as cliche as it sounds, everything that you do when you make a shit decision, you've learned something from it, and there's weaknesses that I've had in the business that I could probably go with. So, for example, one of my weaknesses is being too naive on measurements and stuff with manufacturing clothes. So, I'll give you an old example. A lot of people will know this already. We made hoodies, and they sent us the sample. The hoods were too big, and we go, can we just go back to our original hood size and add 3 centimeters to it? They added 3 centimeters to the too big hood, and there was an extra big hood, and then they sent those here, but they sent me the final production measurements, and I missed them because I didn't really check them, because I was just like, got a bit naive, and I was like, they know what they're doing, like, they know what I'm saying, and with, the language barrier, it makes it a bit tough sometimes. So definitely with that, I've become a lot more pedantic around checking measurements and stuff and making sure everything's correct before they come, because I definitely don't want to face that again. That was one of the darkest moments. I actually thought they were going to go out of business because I had just bought like 300 hoodies and all of them had these huge ass hoods on them. We worked it out. We managed to make our way out of it. But yeah, stuff like that. And another thing that I'm trying to get better at is how we spend our money within the company, and trying to make better like financial decisions and stuff when it comes to money. And I think we've got a new accountant on board, Ankush. He is helping us out in that area, so he's giving us advice. He's helping, telling us what we should do, what we shouldn't do, and what we should spend our money on, and potentially the tax benefits of certain things. And that's been really beneficial, and it's really helped me in terms of the money side of things. Next one.
Oh, shit. Where do you start? Tips.
Where do you start?
Question mark tips.
Where did you start, or?
Where do you start?
What was the one before that?
How did you get into starting your own business?
Yeah, those are the two from the same person, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, read the first one again, it's a little bit clearer.
Where do you start?
No, the first one out of the other one you said.
Oh, how did you get into starting your own business?
Yeah, so I started one when I left school. I moved down to Wellington, made a team that we were supposed to go away for a few months overseas, so I pulled out of uni, ended up getting injured, couldn't go, stuck at home, had pulled out of uni, can't play rugby because I'm injured for a few months, and thought, shit, I should do something with my time. I've always wanted to start a business, so I started one. It was more of a hobby. It was a clothing brand, and it flopped, and I didn't like where it was heading, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I'm glad I did it because it's probably led me to where I am now with this. But it was more just having the drive in my head to, like, I've never really felt like long term I want to work for someone else. Like, I want to be able to work on my own terms, and it's more than just money and stuff like that. Like, it's to do with time, and I've got a young son, Rome, and I want to be able to spend time with him when I want on my terms in the future. So by being my own boss, I can do that, and just little things like that. But if you had that little inkling on wanting to start a business, first thing I would do, which is what I did with this, is I grabbed a notebook, I sat in my room, and I wrote down, first of all, I wrote down name ideas, I brainstormed them, and then I wrote down my why and why I'm doing it. And I've referred back to that why a lot regularly to this day. I've referred back to it, and it reminds me of why I started it and why I'm doing it. And when shit gets hard, and when I'm feeling like fuck, I'm over this, and I'm getting not over business but over certain things that happen within business, your why is what's gonna help you get through that. And that's what I found with that. So finding your why, making sure you go into it with a bit of a plan, and then honestly, my biggest recommendation is just fucking go for it and just learn as you go, and don't be so worried about making sure everything's in place and finding the right time and all that bullshit. Just go, just start, make it happen, learn things along the way, and when shit gets tough, hang in there, because shit's going to get tough and you're going to feel like quitting, and most people do. And I was talking to someone about this a couple of days ago, especially in clothing brands. People start clothing brands all the time, and there's like this 1 to 2 year, 1 to 2 year curse, I guess, where most of them are gone within 1 to 2 years. And that's because when the hype of the clothes goes away and people stop buying it for the hype because it's your new brand, and your mates essentially, I guess, might stop buying it because it's like, it's kind of like the hype of my mate starting a business is kind of over now. When that shit hits, how willing are you to be able to stay in it and be relevant and fight through the tough times and make sure that you stick with it and change and adapt as you go? Because you can't just be the same brand your whole time. We've changed as a brand and as a company our whole time. Our morals and values have stayed the same, but in terms of like our clothes and the way we go about things, our mindset, our knowledge, everything's changed from when we started, and you need to be able to do that to keep up with the times. Next
Start.
Next one.
If 138 was a person, how would you describe it?
Oh shit, that's a good one. Probably, like, without being weird, probably like me. Like, I tried to develop the business from the start. I developed it to be a reflection of me, and it's changing now because we're getting more people involved in the business and stuff like that. But like when I first originally started it, I was like, when people see 138, I want them to think of me and think that it was attached myself to the brand and attached my face to the brand. And that came with positives and negatives. Negatives being when shit goes wrong, or when people hate on what you're doing with the brand. They hate on you, and when stuff goes wrong with orders or whatever, that's on you because you've put yourself in that position. You've put the face on the brand. But that to me is accountability, and I've grown up with that my whole life, and I think it's important. So I would say a young, eager, right now, because it's changed a bit, I'd say young, eager, early 20s, male predominant, to be honest, at the moment, and very into content and sports, because we're heavily into sports here. We talk a lot about sports and stuff on it. It's the passion of a lot of ours. The boys talk about UFC a lot and American football and stuff like that, and then we talk about the rugby and the NRL. We've got the NRL Fantasy League, and sports is massive for us. It's always been a big part of our lives. It's what's essentially brought most of us together. Me, Bev and Bobs, we played together in the same rugby team since we were about 6 or 7 years old, so that's the sport is what actually brought us together in the first place. So I would say that's up there with it too. And then we are trying to, I guess, transform over time this brand into not your basic brand that you just pick up, for whatever you just find in every single store, North Beach or whatever. We want to be a higher end brand, up market brand, and things like that. So yeah, next one.
What does entrepreneurship mean to you?
Oh shit! Probably should have read through these first. Entrepreneurship to me, I think it just means someone who is driven to make a life for themselves. Number one, I guess. Not to say that if you're not an entrepreneur, you don't do that, but someone who is an entrepreneur definitely has that trait. Who's not afraid to make mistakes and not afraid to take risks, because entrepreneurship and business is just risk, day-to-day risks, work ethic. There's a lot of work that goes into running a business, and a lot of the time, and especially at the start, it's for very little return. We just put someone on board. Courtney, she's running our social media and stuff like that. And she started like this little agency, social media agency, and it's awesome. She started this week, so I've been still getting used to not clicking on the notifications and not going into the 138 account because I'm trying to let her take that over. A lot of the reason is to do with my time and my health, and I wanted to take more time out of focusing on replying to DMs and all that stuff, because it is important, but taking away from that stuff and start focusing on areas that, one, can help scale the business, and two, can help better my personal life, focus more on my exercise and health and stuff like that. So, but to give you an example, right, she's jumped on board, and what we're paying them monthly is what I get paid monthly. So like, I pay myself bugger all, and in the bigger scheme of things, like I'm working a full-time job. I'm here 5 days a week at least, and my mind is on it 7 days a week, and the money just does not translate. But I know that it's money in the bank because I'm banking on what's going to happen in 5-10 years time with the company from the work that you put in now, and that's entrepreneurship. I think you got to understand that it's not just overnight. and you're not getting paid by the hour. You're getting paid by the time and effort that you put into it. You'll get paid for that in the future. Is that it? Is there more?
One more. Are you bringing anyone on board?
Yep. So we'll do a proper little announcement on our page, and he's going to do a bit of an announcement too on his, I think, as well. But a little inside scoop, I guess, if you're watching this podcast, you're going to know early. We are bringing someone on board part-time, and hopefully very soon we'll be able to bring him on board as our first full-time employee. His name is Quinn Fallon. So we had Geordie, a mate of ours, doing our videos and stuff, and I guess how this all came about is he couldn't do it anymore. And so over and over again I've been told, like, you should find someone. You know, I've put things out for an intern and stuff before like that. You should find someone young, keen to like come in and sort of be a part of it all properly for you guys. And I was like, yeah, you know, I've been wanting that. But I've never been able to find anyone to do it. And funnily enough, like the day that Geordie couldn't do it anymore, this guy popped up. And I was like, shit, I've actually been on this guy's page a couple of times. He's pretty onto it. And I had a look at his stuff, and then I just teed up a meeting. I was like, sent him a message and said, bro, keen to catch up for a coffee next week and talk about what's potentially, I guess there's a potential opportunity here at 138 for you, and I want to see where your head's at around that stuff. And he's like, bro, I'm keen as, like, let's do it, let's jump for a coffee. Came here from Rotorua, we sat down for a coffee, instantly clicked with this guy, and I knew that he was the right fit for us as a brand. So that he does photography. He's a freelance photographer, and he also does videography as well, which he's trying to make a big push in. So he's going to be pretty much leveling up all our content. So we're going to be doing weekly vlogs. We're going to be doing reels, snippets, photography, properly done photo shoots. He's going to be taking the lead on that creative side of things, and I'm really excited to have him on board. He brings value, and not just that, but he also brings value in other areas of the business, and he's organised. And I was just telling Devontae before, like, I woke up in the morning and he'd sent me a content strategy. He'd sent me a structure for him starting a podcast under us, because that's what we're going to do. I'm not going to give away any secrets on that yet, no details on that yet, but it's pretty exciting, and it fits really well. And yeah, I guess he just sort of, you know, I felt like I sort of knew, like I'd never met him face to face before, but I felt like I'd known him forever from that meeting. So I think he's going to be really good for us. He's going to be in here 2 to 3 days a week with us from the start, and then hopefully we can bump that up to kind of full-time-ish as soon as possible. But yeah, I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to have him on board. So shout out to Quinn. Go give him a follow too if you don't already. Quinn Fallon, check out his content. He's pretty hissing, and he's very driven, and he loves and he wants to grow the brand, and that's what excites me the most. That he's not coming in to use the brand to build himself. He's coming in to build the brand, which will help build himself essentially, and he understands that, and I know he understands that. So I'm excited to have him on board and join the crew. I think we're all going to go for dinner tomorrow, hopefully. Bob's didn't go to Auckland again, and yeah, so pretty excited. That's about it, eh?
Yep.
Awesome. So thanks for tuning in. We're going to be dropping a guest podcast tomorrow, actually, with Quinn. We're going to be doing one in here. We'll drop it tomorrow night at 6 p.m. I'll drop this. This will be 6 p.m. as well today. So thanks for tuning in. Sponsored by Arepa. Later.